This is the Southside School of Financial Freedom Market Report and Small Account Update for the week ending July 27th, 2024. The market finished mixed this week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average increased 1.64% on Friday and was up 0.75% for the week. The S&P 500 increased 1.11% on Friday but was down minus 0.83% for the week. The Nasdaq increased 1.03% on Friday but was down minus 2.08% for the week. Looking at the week, we can see that there were 7 up finishes versus 8 down finishes for the major indexes. On Monday, all the major indexes finished up. On Tuesday and Wednesday, they all finished down. On Thursday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished up, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq finished down. And on Friday, all the major indexes finished up again. How did you do? My small account finished 0.55% higher and generated cash flow of 0.78%. Even when the market falls and or my account doesn't do well, I still get income or cash flow by selling covered calls and naked puts. This method does not only guarantee cash flow or income, it can also beat the S&P 500. I use a watch list to determine which options of stocks that I want to sell. A stock has to meet 5 criteria to be on my trading watch list. I will not reveal what my criteria are, but if you examine my list, you may be able to figure out the criteria for yourself. The last row, however, is my benchmark row. That is, I measure my performance against gold, silver, and the S&P 500. Looking at my watch list from the week, the strongest performer on the list was Novavax Incorporated, ticker symbol NVAX in the first column. It was up 2.64% on Friday and increased 23.54% for the week. Novavax Incorporated is a biotechnology company that discovers, develops, and commercializes vaccines that protect against serious infectious diseases and illnesses like COVID-19. Their vaccine platform combines a recombinant protein nanoparticle technology and its patented Matrix M adjuvant to enhance the patient's immune response. Looking at a summary of results, you can see that Novavax has increased more than 256% year to date. I did not generate cash flow from Novavax this week, but I have in the past. This week I generated cash flow from selling 4 different option contracts. There were 4 calls that ranged from $5.34 to $10.34. So on Monday, I sold a call for $10.34. And it wasn't until Friday when I sold 3 calls, one for $10.34, one for $8.34, and one for $5.34. That's a total of only $34.36, which is not a lot of money, but the account is small. $34.36 in cash flow was 0.78% of my account value. With this system, the cash flow money received is free and clear. You can take it out of your account and spend it, or leave it in to build your cash balance and or invest it. If you want to increase the amount of cash flow, just use a larger account. For example, to 10x the cash flow to $343.60, use a larger account, and instead of selling one of everything that I sold, sell 10. This strategy is guaranteed to produce cash flow immediately and every week that it is applied. However, it does not guarantee the amount of cash flow from week to week, nor the value of your account. The amount varies and the account value varies. Despite the variations in amount and value, the goal is to generate cash flow and beat the S&P 500. Please note that most professional money managers and their strategies do not consistently beat the S&P 500 every year. They usually lose, and they lose by a lot. Last year, this method beat the S&P 500 by almost 12%. But In 2024, my account is down minus 7.51% versus 14.54% up for SPY, which is an S&P 500 ETF. That's a difference of 22.05%. So I am losing to the S&P 500 by just over 22%. It is not unusual to beat the S&P 500 one year and then lose to the index the next year, which is what I am currently doing so far in 2024. However, I am still confident that I will gain on the S&P 500 and beat it by year's end. Tune in next week to find out what happens. Bitcoin watch. Bitcoin gained 1.84% this past week and is down minus 7.47% from its all-time high. It is up almost 63% year to date. Some people believe that Bitcoin is the most transformative financial asset in 1,000 years. I think the best course of action is to dollar cost average, that is DCA, into the S&P 500 and DCA into Bitcoin at a 30 to 70% ratio for the next 10 years and or up to when you have invested at least $10,000. In fact, I have implemented a similar strategy where I have a portfolio that is almost 93% in a Bitcoin ETF, and it is up 7.1% after 6 weeks. What do you think? What is your strategy? Do you know how to produce cash flow every week and beat the S&P 500? Do you invest in Bitcoin, which may prove to be the smartest investment of the decade? As you develop, analyze, and implement your strategy, please check back to see how my small account and my Bitcoin dominant account performs against the S&P 500 from week to week by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.